Welcome to this very special episode that we've got with Sanjeev Bikhchandani. The big news, of course, today being about the mega deal between Zomato and Uber Eats. InfoEdge is the second largest shareholder in Zomato. Mr. Bikhchandani, this is what you call a meaningful coincidence. I asked you for an interview nearly 2.5 weeks ago, and the date has coincided with the interview.
Clearly, you knew what was going to happen.
Or you knew what was going to happen and you wanted us to have the interview. It's a big deal for Zomato.
It is a big deal.
And what does it mean for InfoEdge?
I think obviously if Zomato benefits, we benefit, and we are supportive of Zomato and all the good things they're doing. So it's good for us also.
But you know, as the second largest shareholder of Zomato, there were all this talk of how Zomato is running out of cash. Then Ant Financial, of course, increased its stake. Now you've got Uber Eats on board. What is the future of Zomato?
It's looking good. I think the Uber deal helps in several ways. It helps in terms of synergies regarding customers, regarding the rider network, regarding the restaurant supply chain, and also very importantly, there are 4 or 5 cities where Uber Eats is strong, and Zomato is not as strong as it is in other cities, and that will really help. So I think there are 4 or 5 areas of synergies. So this deal will help a lot.
But does Zomato still not need more cash, or is that just market rumors or people who just want to be cynical?
Well, Zomato has continuously been cutting down burn, and it's cut down burn from 45 to 50 million a month, let's say about less than a year ago, to under 20 million right now, and it's headed south.
Okay, so it's burning. So it will need more cash, clearly.
Well, it has got enough cash. If it doesn't get more cash, it's fine. It'll manage. If it does get more cash, it's only good for it.
What will Uber Eats mean for Zomato? And you've got Uber now having a 9.9% stake in Zomato. It's a global giant which is coming on board. What is this going to mean?
Well, I think, like I pointed out earlier, the synergies are important, and it's useful to have partners who are global. So it's all in all, it's a good thing.
So can the Uber fleet be used for deliveries, you think?
Well, so that is yet to be worked out exactly how it will be operationalized, and that's work in progress.
I've also got to ask you this, this deal has been announced shortly after Amazon's Jeff Bezos was in India. I think it's an open secret. Amazon has been building its team. It wants to get into the food delivery business. So timing is pretty good. Now you've got a global giant, Uber, which is going to be backing Zomato, with Amazon getting set to make its entry.
Well, let's see what Amazon does or does not do. It remains to be seen if they're going to launch and when they're going to launch and how they're going to launch.
Do you only order on Zomato? Do you also use Swiggy?
The only food delivery app I have on my phone is Zomato.
You generally think that Zomato is bigger than Swiggy, better than Swiggy?
I think Zomato has got 2-3 parts of its business which Swiggy does not have, right? One is the restaurant discovery and dining out piece, right? And I think that's a huge asset for Zomato. It's a profitable business. It's a large business. It's growing fast. Right? And that's what gives Zomato financial stability. It also gives it a lower cost of customer acquisition. And it gives it the flexibility to cut burn and still not drop in volume. It's got presence in overseas markets, right? And those are doing, some of those are beginning to do fairly well. So I think Zomato is got a part of its footprint which overlaps with Swiggy, and a big part of it which does not.
Okay.
So in that sense, it's slightly different. I think Swiggy's done a good job, and I think 2 players help the market, help the customer. It expands the market, and healthy competition is good.
What is also very well known, Mr. Bikhchandani, is that Zomato is not on the best of terms with restaurants. You talked about the dining out option, even in today's press release and in the blog that Dipinder Goyal has written, he's talked about Zomato Gold, something which the restaurant partners are saying is unacceptable for them. But that's not good for a shareholder like you or for the P&L of Zomato.
Well, actually, those are ongoing conversations. I think a lot of restaurants now are on board with Gold, so that issue is being resolved and on an ongoing basis.
When it was at its crisis with the restaurants, did you speak with Dipinder? What advice did you give him? Well,
we are constantly in touch. It's not just that time. We would try and understand the situation and try and, wherever inputs are required, we'd give inputs.
Okay. What does this mean for Zomato now that Uber is, a 9.9% equity holder? Does this mean that Zomato is going to go to many more countries?
Not immediately. I think Zomato is going to first focus on the India piece while continuing to consolidate in the markets it already is in. And after that, it will evaluate options.
That is obviously the plan, right? And if you look at the fact that, the press release also had a quote from the CEO of Uber, global CEO.
Yeah, so look, I think there are many markets Zomato is already present. I'm not sure they'll expand beyond those markets in a hurry. they will, I think, do a lot of work in India first.
Are you happy with your shareholding in Zomato? Are you looking at any exit?
Look, we are patient capital. We're not a fund where we have to return somebody else's money in 7 years or 8 years or 10 years. We know businesses take a long time to build. So we invested in Zomato first in 2010. In the first 4 rounds, we went solo. Then we co-invested in the 5th round. In 2019, we are happy to hold. We are not in any hurry to exit. In Policy Bazaar, we first invested in 2008. We continue to invest. We invested as recently as 2019. So we are long-term patient capital.
Okay, and you're redefining patience.
And quite honestly, we are happy to be holding on to a good company forever.
Forever?
I mean, we will cooperate with the entrepreneur. We'll support the entrepreneur. Naturally, we'll support other investors who are in there. So we will do what it takes. But we are not in a hurry to exit.
Mr. Bikhchandani, you also understand the markets so well. Do you think Zomato will go in for an IPO? It's a trend we've not seen, not just with food tech companies, but across the startup universe.
I think it's a little early for Zomato to think of an IPO. I think Zomato should, try and get to profit first.
Yeah, of course. We learned that from WeWorks. Yeah.
If it wants to go public in India. No, WeWorks is a different situation. WeWorks, there were issues on disclosures and governance which came out after the RHP was filed. Zomato can go public overseas, but I think Zomato, to go public in India, as an Indian company first, if it wants to go public in India, it will, I think it's a good idea to get to profit first.
By when do you think Zomato will be profitable?
That's a matter of strategy and choice. I think Zomato can be profitable in 3 to 6 months if it wishes to. It can continue to invest more and continue to not make a profit for a while. So those are strategic choices, and that's not out of compulsion anymore.
And that's not any direction that you give to Dipinder Goyal or the board?
No. See, it's a constant conversation, and really, a lot of the thinking is led by the management, by Dipinder and his team. So we are happy, we are comfortable to support them.
Because I'm also asking you this because, the last couple of weeks, the big story has been of the layoffs at Oyo. How now Oyo is looking at a road to profitability. The only target that matters is profitability. So Oyo kind of taking a stance in that, whether it's to do with SoftBank and WeWorks is a different story. Do you think the Indian startups need to be more obsessive about the bottom line, more obsessive about EBITDA?
I think the environment has changed in the last year or two. I think unit economics and profits are coming back center stage, and those are the conversations many startups are having. Okay,
but it's going to take time, right? You can't just say, okay, today turn off the tap and we're going to become profitable.
Yes, there will be a transition period, but then you've got to have the funding available to fund the losses during the transition, and some may need to do it faster than others.
Okay. And as far as the food tech space goes, Mr. Bikhchandani, at one time it felt like it had peaked out, right? But clearly these companies are having to innovate themselves. So do you think it'll have to go beyond delivery like what Zomato is doing? Then very soon it's cloud kitchens. Travis Kalanick is, for example, betting big on that. He founded Uber.
Well, look, I think Zomato has a point of view and a strategy there. Zomato, my understanding from conversations with Dipinder is that they don't want to compete with their restaurant clients, and therefore they are unlikely to launch their own cloud kitchen brand. However, they are happy to do infrastructure where restaurant brands come and house themselves and are able to produce
Can I ask you a very cheeky question? When the entire fight was happening with the restaurants, you know how Delhi works. I'm sure you got a lot of calls from restaurateurs. Did they tell you Dipinder ko control karo, kya kar raha hai Zomato?
No, look, there were conversations going on, and most of the conversations were between NRAI and Zomato management. And yes, I do have a few friends here and there, and but I was let me put it this way: what Zomato was doing, there may have been some sort of friction, but I don't think it was unreasonable.
Okay. What does Ant Financial mean for an investor like you? I'm going to take 2 examples where Ant Financial, if you can see, it has come to the rescue. Paytm as well as Zomato. It has happened. This influx that you're seeing of Ant Financial in the Indian startup space, is it good? Is it bad? Do you have any views on it?
So I think good investments are good, and not so good investments are not so good, right? So if any company that uses the money well to achieve its goals, I think that's a good investment, right? Zomato has been doing that. I cannot say much about Paytm because I don't know about it, but Zomato I think is a good investment. It's a good company, it's a sound company, solid company, and it'll be all right.
So once again, I'm asking once again for the benefit of our viewers. There's no fear about Zomato. It's not running out of cash. There is no deadline as such.
No.
That's all wrong.
Zomato is stable and sound and solid.
Okay, so now let's talk about the rest of your portfolio. I wanted to ask you about Naukri. You have some of the best insights into that controversial topic of job creation, jobs. How's Naukri doing?
Well, we are currently have a board meeting on February 12th,
Yes.
so I cannot talk about the results.
No, not numbers, but you get insights into the market. Is it picking up, not picking up?
Well, look, I think we've been seeing for the last 2, 3, 4 quarters that there has been sluggishness emerging. I don't think that is going away for a couple of quarters. Now, having said that, it's possible that this time will be a lagging indicator. The economy will recover first, companies recover first, and only then, hiring will go on. So we have to wait and watch.
Can I also just ask you that with the kind of innovation that you're seeing every other day, how do you make sure your portfolio companies stay ahead of innovation?
So look, there are businesses that we own and run in InfoEdge, which is Naukri, 99acres, Jeevan Sathi, Shiksha, right? There, our teams are in charge, and then obviously we, our own people drive the innovation agenda. And there's a lot of investment going on, a lot of very, very innovative work going on in the area of AI, machine learning, analytics, big data, in all our internal companies. As far as the investing companies are concerned, each has its own agenda. Now, obviously, we work with them and we talk to them and discuss with them. But that innovation agenda is driven by the entrepreneurs themselves, and it's not as if we are telling them what to do.
Okay.